This will probably be the single most important Factorio video I ever make. So what do I mean by that? So we've been dealing with these upcyclers, and in the last episode, I had a period where I cut out a lot of some of the bot busy work. Part of that was moving this storage area and the cargo landing pad, and also tearing down our starter base over here. And just kind of on the fly, I was like, you know what? I want to use buffer chests. I think it would be a great idea. Since this is kind of a central storage, I want to be able to have these things pull off of our sushi bus, but then also request in items from the storage area. Like if we end up getting too much from, you know, like this guy here. This guy's going to be spitting stuff into both the buffers to a degree and the storage over here. And I wanted just a central location that everything can eventually end up back here, well, at least the base materials. And this will kind of clean up for leaving this for either our machines or the items that we're using or better quality stuff. And I still want to hold on to that. But then this actually caused a problem, and I love these problems. Again, I will explain why. This was such an easy mistake. It was like an on-the-fly decision. I had not tested it, but this kind of broke my quality upcycler. So I had I had someone in my Discord say, okay, well, how do you make it so that this buffer chest and this buffer chest kind of work together? And the answer is you can't. So this is a huge mistake because a buffer chest cannot request in from a buffer chest. So these have to be requester chests. So I decided to go back to the drawing board. And I know, yes, this is another upcycler video, but again, this is the single most important thing that I could actually, these two blueprints are probably the two of the four most important blueprints that I'll ever make. And it is very important that I get these right. Why? Because this isn't just going to be an upcycler. This is our storage for the machine that we're making. This is our upcycler. It is basically like an all-in-one. And it is, it is requesting, like for instance, once we upgrade some of these items will be dragged into here. And yeah, so it's our storage, it's our upcycler, it is just everything that we need in one single blueprint. It is even effectively replacing the bot mall. So I will never have to drop a bot mall item for instance, the accumulators. So I spent another 4 hours digging through and thinking about different ways to make this largely unchanged. So we're not changing it that much, but I spent a lot of time really honing in on perfecting this. So we're going to go back into our test world where we created these blueprints, and I've already, I'm going to try not to spend too much time on this because obviously we've spent a lot of time on these upcyclers. I have already completed everything that I need to do with this one, so this is the final version. So we're going to use this, well, okay, hold on, let me get rid of you guys. So we're going to, I have this as a reference, but I want to make sure that we're going to staple this down and get it perfectly right. That was just some other testing. Anyways, so what do I want to have happen? One, this needs to be our bot mall. So these need to be producing at least the base material. If I don't have anything better, I want the base material to be here and stored and be usable and collectible by other machines and myself and the rockets and all this other stuff. And then it will start to upcycle. Upcycles into green. Once we have some greens, it starts to dump all of the normals until we have blue. Once we have blue, it starts to dump the green, and you get the idea. It's an upcycler. But I want to ensure that we have enough of the better quality item to use if we don't have, or let's say I want to make sure that we have some of the lower quality to use if we don't have any of the higher quality available. At some point, that's not going to be a problem. Other things that I want this to be clog proof, or at least for the most part clog proof. Whenever I say clog proof, mostly what I mean is like in here, because we are pulling all of these items off, some of them are going to go into here. Some of them are going to go into our requester chest. These are the first change is we are definitely making these requester chests. They will be requesting from buffers. And there is a somewhat of a chance that over time, because this is all kind of, it's all kind of randomized, so there is a slight chance that you might gain on one of these items or another. Now, I'm not going to be doing trash unrequested because something else that I wanted to do is I wanted to have, like the reason why I had this as a buffer is because I wanted to be able to request in the actual item. We're going to be moving that to these down here. So this is going to request in the normal item. We will just do 20 for now. This will be the normal item in quality, green quality. This will be the normal item in blue quality. This will be the normal item in epic quality. And I don't need to request in legendary. This is going to be the storage for legendary, and anywhere else is going to be the storage for legendary, so that is perfectly fine. We are going to set this up in a way that, one, like I said, is clog proof, but two, shuts off when we have what we need. That is another major component of what I want from this. And as you can see here, this is the majority of the clogging that you might actually have. And that is largely because these machines are not moving very fast. As we upgrade the quality for these machines, I can just show that now. As you start to upgrade the quality of the machines, they will start going through this quite a bit faster. Come on, guys. Don't make me look stupid. Okay. And yep, you guys gonna go? Go. All right. I also obviously took this out, but anyways. Yeah, so this is the majority of the clogging that you're going to see is stuff like this, stuff that's kind of backing up on this line here, but it will never clog in here, here. It'll never clog here. It'll, well, for the most part, shouldn't clog down here. I think maybe the reason why it is clogging is because of this guy here. So let's just get rid of that. Because we won't have an alternate source. So once they kind of bleed through whatever collection of stuff that they had. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so obviously that was one of the changes. And we are going to be setting this up again for parameterization. So this is going to be the same kind of system that we've had, that you've seen me do before. And I like to have each of these be kind of have their own numbers. Like they have to have their own numbers when you parameterize these. And we're not doing trash and requested. So how am I going to make this? How am I possibly going to make this in a way that I can have it remove items or not clog, remove the excess items, but not have trash and requested? Well, thankfully, there is this other option where you can set a range limit, and we are going to be parameterizing around that. So I'm doing this 2 1s, 3 1s, 2 2s, 3 2s, just so I can know for sure that this is like how this is going to be. And then while we're not going to be requesting in the item that we want, we are still going to be placing a limit on this. We're just going to have it set to 0, so it won't request anything in. I don't know if this is just some random number. It doesn't really matter what the number is. I just want it to be able to give me an indicator of what it is that I'm trying to do here. So for instance, if I set it for, let's say that for like 400 is actually 20 stacks. So let's say that, you know, anywhere that I have, we'll just do 20. Anywhere I see a 20 is going to indicate that I want 20 stacks. So anywhere that I want 20 stacks, I can just say 20, good to go. But the 0 makes it so that I'm not requesting in anything, but it's also not going to trash anything until I get to whatever 20 stacks is. So I'm going to copy that, paste, paste, paste. These are all going to screw up initially because now I got to change the quality, but at least the numbers are in, so I don't have to redo all the numbers. And yeah, definitely make sure to get everything, not just the stuff in the front. This is blue. Epic. I know, it's like deja vu. It's like we've seen this before. Fun part is the parameterization. That's where things always get complicated, and I always tend to hit enter and have to restart the whole process. This has been a very, very, very frustrating experience, but like I said, I really want to make sure that I get this right. Okay, so we are going to be requesting in here, and I don't want to request in a 20. Let's do this. I'm gonna call this. Let's request in, I don't know, what can I indicate? I maybe should have not done this as 20. Let's just do this as like, I don't know, 400. And then I can leave this as 20, which will indicate a full stack. So same here, that one's good. That's good. This is good. I need to change these now because I changed that one. 400. 400. That one's good. That one's good. And actually, okay. All of the normal quality items coming out of this are going down on this belt. So the normal quality items are going here, and once it gets to this point, only like normal quality items are generally not like the base ingredients are going to come out here, but the actual normal item will never come through here. So we actually don't even need this. And because of that, we don't even need this. So those two can both just go. We only need that for, we don't need that for here either. So we only need that for the three in the middle, the green, the blue, and the epic quality. So that is another major change. Let's see. These, did I have these? I did have these green connected. I'm not going to connect these with the green wire. I'm going to connect these with the red wire. Not only that, but I'm also going to connect the green, the blue, and the epic to this one. So what I'm going to end up doing is these are going to be enabled and limited. I want them to do the whole 400 thing. So enable if this in epic is less than 400. So what that's going to do is once we get to, let's say 20 full stacks in here, these inserters will shut off and they will quit allowing materials to come through, which means that we won't just endlessly chuck away. Like for instance, we're going to start out with only like rare max. Once we get 20 stacks of the item that we're aiming for, these will both turn off. And that means we won't just endlessly feed the, let's say the items coming through here, or once this gets, let's say this chest gets full, we won't just endlessly send the items down here to be recycled. It will all just be prevented. The other two will continue to, you know, do their thing. This is a very long process, this whole upcycling thing. So by the time we actually get to that point, we will probably, well, one, we're going to be using a lot of these items. Two, by the time we get there, we're probably going to unlock epic. And the more you unlock, the longer it takes to kind of upcycle. Anyways, so this is going to be the blue quality. Same thing, 400. And green, this is going to be 400. And this one is going to be 400. Enable if the green quality is less than 400. So I also had it set up here so that if I had 10, at least 10 of the legendary, the epic would then be allowed to go through. I like that idea. I'm going to do that with all of them. So they're all going to be 10. This 10 is going to be its own, like we don't have to parameterize this. We're just going to say 10. It doesn't matter what it is. If you have 10 of anything before it, allow the previous quality to just go. Okay, so well, what happens when we, allow this to go for hours and hours and hours and we get all of the legendary quality that we need? Well, we need a way to actually turn this whole thing off because we won't want to just completely waste all of our resources just allowing this to continue through, even though we already have all the legendary that we need. So we're going to continue to connect this, and we're going to connect this in front of this inserter, specifically this inserter. And we're going to tell this if the legendary quality, enable if the legendary quality is less than 400, which is the same stack size as all the other things that we've been doing in here. And I believe that, let me double check my reference. I did 20 for a stack, so that is not a big deal, but then I did, yep, 20. So I'm using 400, but just as an indicator, that's 20 stacks. Okay, and I think that's pretty close to everything. This is requesting in, okay, and then the next thing that we're going to need to figure out is how do we determine what range we want? Because this is going to, like I said, this is kind of going to buffer this a little bit. So if we had just trash unrequested whatever it is exactly that we wanted, there would be tons and tons of bot activity. And we don't necessarily need that. We can make this so that, yes, we're requesting in, I don't know, let's just make up a number. Let's say we're requesting in 100 of each of the items. Well, once it goes to 101, so something comes through here and this now becomes 101, a bot is going to come take that out. Well, what if I don't want that? What if I want that to just sit here? But I also don't want to request 101, and like the problem just kind of snowballs. So that's where the range comes in. And we're going to figure out what that range is, and we're going to do that now. So I'm going to take the Upcycler blueprint that we have and just update this. So that should bring this huge list of all the stuff that we have now. So we're going to enable these parameters. The 1 through 5 is going to be a parameter of 0. And 0 needs to move to the top. So anything involving 0 needs to be up here. So the stack size of 20 needs to be up here. That 400 I had, whatever, that is also going to be up here. I believe in this version, the 20 was, or the way that I was doing this one, the 20 indicated a stack size, the 400 indicated 20 stack sizes. So this is a stack size P_0 S, and then we're gonna times 20 for 20 stacks. And then all these other ones. 1 goes with the 1 1. The 1 1 1 goes with the 1 1. So we'll just shift all of those up into place. Okay, so now we have all of those. So we already have our range, and the way that we set, if you didn't see the episode where we came up with this range, what we did was we tried to come up with a way to balance. Well, what if the item that we're making with the bot mall only has 1 ingredient and 1 quantity to make it? We need a way to have that increased. So we did the plus 20, but at the same time, we want to kind of multiply this, but we don't want to have it greatly multiply in a situation where we have thousands of items that are required to make 1 ingredient. For instance, the rocket silo, which requires, well, I mean, I don't know, like 2,500 items or something like that off the top of my head. It's like 1,000 steel, 1,000 concrete, I don't know, 100 pipe or something like that. The 250 electric motors, 100 like blue circuits. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into making the rocket, right? So there's a lot of items, and we needed to be able to have something that worked for both. So we're kind of going to do the same thing. So for the upper end of the parameter, which I'm going to set with these, we're going to enable the formula, and we're going to copy this formula. And remember, the I1 is for the ingredient 1. So instead of doing times 1.5, we're going to do times 3. And instead of doing 20, we're going to do 120. So I'm actually going to copy all of this and paste, 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 paste. And then we need to change the 1 to a 2. I know you didn't just didn't see that. Matching the one above it. And that is going to be our range. So, okay, moment of truth. Let's see if we did this right. So now we're going to test it. It doesn't really matter what we pick. We just need to know that what are the ingredients. Now we know that we have the 3, and this is now our range. So we can have, we're going to have 45, 37, and 45 requested in, but it will allow 390, 375, and 390 until, like, as a buffer before the bots start removing them. And since we're not doing trash unrequested, wait, why didn't, okay, never mind. That was, I probably should be looking at this one because I had this other range back here, and okay, 1000 is, you know what? I did say 20 stacks. It is what it is. So then this should be 1 stack. 1 stack. So we're requesting in 1 stack. That means that once we dump all of these, anything that is out in storage will then start to funnel into this and then get recycled. This one should have been 20 stacks, which is 1000. These guys are disabled at 1000 for their respective quality, which will then prevent them from going on. And I am very happy with this. So this turned out exactly the way that I wanted. And I don't, okay, except for the rip. Except for the quality. Oh, you know what? I can tell you what. I know I've done this before. Just change. I need epic, or sorry, legendary inserter to regular. I need the legendary assembler 3 to regular assembler 3. And I don't think I changed anything else. Let's save that. Okay, let's get back into our game. I'm gonna save this first. Yeah, that's a good idea. Every time I don't save it, I end up regretting not saving it in my whatchamacallit, the test realm. Okay, so like I said, I already did what I needed to do for this one, so I'm just gonna go over this and force stamp this down. What is this? Accumulators? And then this one was the implants. Chances are something is gonna be left over because I did shift some things around. It looks like it's actually perfectly fine. So now the bots are bringing in the stuff. Okay, awesome. Whew. Now, when we're placing these, like I said, this is also a bot mall replacement. This is a bot mall replacement. This is an upcycler. This is storage. This is everything that we need in one. However, you only want to upcycle the items that you, like, this is the last, like the end of the line, right? So for instance, I'm going to remove these and add those back to my bar. Now that's going to, okay. I don't actually know how I want to set these up. Can't do it like that. I can do it like that. Okay, so for instance, we probably want to quality upcycle assembler 3s. However, we don't have any normal assembler 2s. We don't have any normal speed modules. And then obviously for assembling machine 2, we will need assembling machine 1. We don't have any of those. We don't want to have those in quality because that will kind of ruin the balance. But we do want them. So I'm going to use the EM. I'll start with this one. We'll just make some of these. The rank 1. Rank 1 speed modules. 4 is probably fine. We're going to need some... How do I want to do this? I can just weave these in. Let's say I want 2 of these. They need assembling machine 1. Wait, 1 might be fine. How many does that make? 2.5. These need 4. Oh, geez, I'm going to need more than this. I mean, if I really wanted to keep up with it, and to be honest, I kind of do want to keep up with it. So those needed steel, gears, green circuits, and the rank 1. For rank 1, iron plates, gears, and green circuits. This makes 2.5 per second. These each need 2.5 per second, so I need 3 more of these. Sorry, 2 more of these. And you kind of get the idea. This is how we're gonna... Wait a minute. Why won't you connect? Oh my goodness, that's driving me nuts. Yes, let's manually connect this every single time. Alright, power is going to hurt like crazy. So we can also squeeze some more things that we might need for this guy. For instance, I don't know. Okay, we're not going to do that because it needs a liquid. We are going to need more of these because we're going to end up making some power armor Mark II. And that's going to require some of these. That's going to require some of these. And yeah, let's just go ahead and make a couple of extra. And we can't fit anything else. Okay, so that's fine for now. Man, I should update the blueprint. Got a request from buffer chests. Oh, I better not. Okay, I did. Awesome. Just double checking. You always got to double check your work because, never know when, you're going to do something completely wrong. Okay, so what else are we going to need in the short term? I need some of those lightning collectors. So I'm going to come down here where we have some of the liquids, and I'm just gonna, yeah, we'll do the upcycle. Oh, there's something else I was upcycling down here. Oh, here they are. Awesome. So I can just do that, do this blueprint over this as well. And we ran out of requester chests. So everything that it needs is on the way. It has its liquid. Liquid is a little bit of a problem, it seems. I told you we wouldn't have enough. So what is he short on? He's not short on anything. He's just short on power. Right now, power. That is not a big deal. Once we get the accumulators going, we will have a lot more storage. Once we get the lightning collectors going, that'll be a lot more power for the accumulators. And yeah, we will be good after that. So just kind of taking a look at what is going to end up going on here. So we do not have epic unlock, but as you can see, we are now building these up. They are going to continue to build up until we get a little bit of a surplus on these guys. And then these guys are also, let's just let's cancel that. Man, these poor guys are moving so slow. Okay, so we did get a little bit more going. I'm a little sorry that we had to have another episode on Upcyclers, but like I said, this was very important. We had to get this right. This is by far one of the most important blueprints that I'll have in this game. I feel like we nailed it this time. We're already starting to see some results. These guys could use a little bit of a buff, but whatever. In this episode, I wanted to kind of get into limiting these guys so that we could limit the lines and not just trash everything. Like if we don't need more stuff, then we can just, you know, have these belts stop. I think we will probably get into that into the next episode. Also, there's one thing that I've been kind of holding off on. It's nothing big, it's nothing crazy. Fulgora is a really, really, really awesome planet for lubricant, and then obviously specifically anything that requires lubricant, which is basically just going to be our electronic engine units, because everything else down here is made on Fulgora, or made on Volcanas. So pretty much anything that needs this is going to be a really good point for making this stuff. Again, not this one. We're probably not going to make bots. You know what? We might be able to make bots here. Yeah, we could totally upcycle bots. I've got a lot of room for stuff like that. We just need flying robot frames. And we have basically all those ingredients. So yeah, we could totally do that. Anyways, that is going to be it for me for this episode. If you would like to have access to these blueprints, I have spent a ton of time working on them, as you can see. If you want access to these blueprints, they are currently posted in Discord. Once I record this, or just before the video goes live, I will have them updated. And yeah, I give them away for free on my Discord. So just join my Discord and you can find them in the blueprint section. Yeah, and other than that, if you've been enjoying my content, then please like my videos and subscribe to my channel. It would be greatly appreciated. All right. I will see you in the next episode. We are like, okay, just real quick. We are so close to leaving Fulgora and heading to Gleba. Like, maybe I'm thinking one more episode on Fulgora and then we're taking off. There's going to be a lot of stuff to put down, but I might have to end up doing some of that off screen. You get the idea. We need something, you stamp it down, good to go. Not much not much of a guide necessary for some of that once we get the blueprint created, right? Yeah, so I want to make some electric engine units and probably a couple more things on the bot or on the yes, both bot mall and upcycler. I want to get these guys limited, but this is probably not that important. Like, it's not a big deal to trash this stuff. Anyways, I will see you in the next episode, and thank you very much for watching.